On March 11, 2011, at 2:46 p.m., the ground beneath Japan began to shake. It was the most powerful earthquake ever recorded in the country's history. Inside the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, control rooms rattled violently. Alarms triggered automatically. Reactors shut down as designed. For a brief moment, everything worked exactly as planned. The real danger had not arrived yet. 41 minutes later, the ocean crossed the plant's defenses. A tsunami over 14 meters high smashed into the coastline. The seawall was only built for half of that. Seawater flooded underground rooms. Emergency generators drowned. Power vanished. Fukushima Daiichi went completely dark. No lights, no cooling systems, no instruments. Nuclear reactors do not stop generating heat when they shut down. Even after shutdown, the fuel continues to cook itself. Without cooling, temperatures began rising silently. Operators could no longer see what was happening inside the reactor cores. Batteries designed to last 8 hours began to die. With them, the last data streams faded. Inside the control rooms, workers were now blind. They could only guess. Pressure built inside Reactor Unit 1. Steam filled containment vessels. Hydrogen accumulated invisibly. Operators requested permission to vent radioactive steam. The decision was delayed. Every minute mattered. Fuel rods were beginning to deform. At approximately 7 p.m., the first core damage began. No one inside could see it. No one outside fully understood it. By midnight, radiation levels were climbing. Protective suits became mandatory. Communication grew fragmented. Some workers were ordered to evacuate. A smaller group stayed behind. They became known later as the Fukushima 50. Not heroes by choice, but by necessity. Many believed they would not survive the night. Some wrote messages to their families. In the early hours of March 12th, hydrogen filled Reactor Unit 1's upper structure. The pressure had nowhere left to go. At 3:36 p.m., the building exploded. The blast tore apart the reactor's outer shell. Live television captured the moment the world realized Fukushima was no longer under control. But inside the plant, the situation was worse. Reactors 2 and 3 were following the same path. Cooling had failed. Fuel damage was accelerating.
Workers improvised with car batteries and fire trucks. They injected seawater directly into reactors, a last resort that permanently destroyed them. Radiation exposure climbed with every hour spent inside. Dosimeters maxed out. Limits were raised to keep the operation alive. On March 14th, Reactor Unit 3 exploded. This blast was stronger, more violent. Debris rained across the facility. Several workers were injured. The air became lethal. Unit 2's containment was failing. Radiation spikes suggested a breach. At one point, evacuation of all staff was considered. Abandoning the plant meant losing Japan itself. If cooling had fully stopped, multiple reactors would have melted through containment. Radiation release would have forced the evacuation of Tokyo. A small group stayed. They continued pumping seawater. They worked in darkness, heat, and radiation. Many later said they accepted death as part of the job, not for duty, but to prevent something worse. Over the following days, the situation slowly stabilized, but the damage was already irreversible. 3 reactor cores had melted. Hydrogen explosions had ripped open buildings. Radioactive material had escaped into air and sea. Entire towns were evacuated. Families left everything behind. Years later, Fukushima Daiichi remains uninhabitable. Decommissioning will take decades. The final hours inside Fukushima reveal the truth few want to face. Nuclear disasters are not explosions. They are slow, silent failures. And when they begin, there is no stopping them.